All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, the Texas Rangers have been an afterthought in Major League Baseball for quite some time now, and for good reason, as you have to go back to 2016 to find the last time that the Rangers made the playoffs. Now, the Rangers lost 102 games last year for their worst season since 1973, but they have been showing some signs of improvement this season. However, that was not enough for manager Chris Woodward to keep his job as he was fired on Monday. And then following Woodward's firing, Rangers president of baseball operations John Daniels, along with general manager Chris Young, talked about the future for Texas. But now Daniels won't be a part of that either, as yesterday the Rangers house cleaning continued as Daniels was relieved of his duties while Young will now be replacing him. Now, Rangers majority owner Ray Davis made the decision, and at the end of the day, it's hard for any front office executive to keep his or her respective job following six consecutive losing seasons. And initially when this happened, when Woodward got fired, I questioned it because it almost felt like Woodward was going to be a martyr because, hey, yeah, he didn't do a great job as the Rangers skipper, but look at what he had to work with for the most part, and who was the person that constructed said team. And that, of course, falls into the lap of John Daniels, who himself, said he hadn't been doing, the best job, just to paraphrase it from his press conference after, the firing of Woodward. And, at the end of the day, Ray Davis is not happy because he spent $500 million dollars of his money. He didn't spend it great, but he spent $500 million dollars of his money this past offseason on Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon, as far as being two potential building blocks for this Rangers club. And don't get me wrong, Texas still has a ways to go if they're going to compete. One of the biggest things that hurt the Rangers so far this season was under Woodward. They were 6-24 in one-run games. At the end of the day, that's not going to cut it. And some people, I was not in that category, felt like the Rangers could compete in the AL West and they could compete for a wild card spot. That's neither the case because you look at Texas right now in the standings, they're 23 games behind the first place Houston Astros. And at this point, the wild card is an afterthought because it's not happening, even with the expanded postseason this year in Major League Baseball. One of the big reasons for the past several years, Texas has continued to have one of the worst pitching staffs in the American League, and that's not going to get it done. You think back to when the Rangers had their success, in the 2010s, making consecutive trips to the World Series. They had a very deep lineup, but they also had the pitching to go along with it, the quality pitching. And you don't win back to back American League pennants if that is not the case. So you look at this, and what does this front office shakeup mean going forward for this Rangers organization? Now, Young has been promoted prior to joining the Rangers as their general manager. He had no previous front office experience. So, right now, obviously he's promoted, but is this the guy that Ray Davis trusts going forward to run his front office? We'll have to wait and see. The Rangers do have some talent in their system, and it's all about cultivating that talent, getting it to the big league level, and helping you obviously improve your record. So, a lot of questions have to be answered for the Rangers going forward. Is Chris Young going to be the guy to lead this front office, or is Ray Davis going to go out there and get somebody else? We'll have to wait and see on that. Whoever is leading this front office, they have to go out there and get themselves a quality manager. No more of this, okay, just hiring a guy, without previous experience, hunkering down on the analytics, if you will, and being a messenger boy. No, you need to go out there and get yourself a quality manager, somebody who is going to have the respect of the guys in the clubhouse, but also, as you're bringing up this young talent, being able to develop them and get them along and get them to compete at a quality level at the major league level. Also, the Rangers, one of the biggest things, they have to find a way to compete in the American League West, because you look at this and the Houston Astros have really run this division in recent years. Now, Seattle was expected to be better this season. They started off slow, but the Mariners look like they're going to get to the playoffs. The Angels were expected to compete. Obviously, that has not worked out, and of course, we saw them fire Joe Madden earlier this season. And then the Rangers were expected to be better. Again, they have shown improvement, but it's tough to really flip the switch on when you were so bad last year and just do a complete 180 so quick. They're building, but they still have a ways to go. Now, in spite of the fact that Texas spent a ton of money on both Seager and Simeon, they're not contracts that are really going to hamstring them going forward, meaning Texas still has flexibility to go out there and do something in the free agent market. And they could have the potential to have the mix with some veterans as well as the youngsters on this team to give them a boost. But the bottom line is, you know, this was a weird week for the Texas Rangers. Um, if there was going to be a managerial change of Woodward, I expected it to be at the end of the season. But then right after that, John Daniels is gone as well, and this is a guy who had been there for so long, been with the Rangers organization since 2005, was the architect for the most part for their success with those consecutive American League pennants. You think about the talent they had on those teams, with the Ian Kinslers of the world, the Josh Hamiltons, the Nelson Cruzes, the Adrian Beltres, and now obviously all of that is gone. So regardless of what happens, this is like, I mean, we still have some time left in the Rangers season and the Major League season. And, obviously the Rangers are going to use this opportunity to evaluate. And I'm sure Ray Davis has put everybody on notice, everybody who's left at least on notice within this organization, that a change is coming. But make no mistake about it, the rest of the season, leading in to the offseason for the Texas Rangers is going to be very interesting. I think Ray Davis is tired of his organization being dormant, and let's see what the Rangers can do going forward to get back to playing competitive baseball in the American League West. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.